Judge orders visitation supervised by mother's brother who doesn't show. Who's in contempt? I'm Tulsa attorney James Worth, and that is the situation that we have, the question that we have that we're delving into. In family law courts in the state of Oklahoma, there are circumstances in which visitation is ordered to be supervised, sometimes monitored, other times supervised. If it's a monitor, they just kind of check in periodic frequencies. If it's supervised, they're supposed to be monitoring essentially the entire time. Sometimes that is done with a professional supervisor. There are companies that's the service that they provide, but they charge by the hour and it can be expensive. So frequently an agreed third party is designated in order to be the supervisor. So in this case, we've got dad who's getting supervised visitation with his child, and the mom's brother has been ordered by the judge as being the appropriate person to supervise that visitation. But if he doesn't show to the visitation, then dad doesn't get the visitation, but who is in trouble potentially for contempt there? And that's the complicated scenario that we deal with. So first off, it should be noted, if we have a third-party visitation supervisor, they are not under the jurisdiction of the court. The court has control over the parties and the child. Just because there's an agreement between the parties to have another person supervise, that doesn't give the judge the authority to force that person to supervise. And if they fail to supervise, although they're in contempt or they're in violation of what the court order was, the court doesn't have the authority to force that against a third party. So that person is not in contempt. So what about mom? Is she in trouble because dad backed out? And the answer is only if she was intentionally thwarting that. If she's the cause of brother backing out, then arguably you may have a case that she is violating the judge's order and interfering with the judge's order. But if brother's doing that on his own accord, then nobody's going to be in contempt there and need to go back to court and perhaps get another visitation supervisor put on there, even if that potentially means to have a professional supervisor. Downside of professional supervisor, obviously, is you've got to pay that cost. The upside is it's a third party who is unbiased, who is going to write reports that then can be used to further the case that either no more supervision is required or that additional visitation would be appropriate. So sometimes it is a good idea to have a professional supervisor rather than a third party supervisor, because in circumstances like this, that person's not any obligation to the court to follow through and could be biased since it is on the mother's side against you. But in this scenario, who is potentially in contempt? It may be neither party. Trying to prove that mom is responsible for brother not showing to supervise visitations can be tough and difficult. So that's the short answer of it. If you want something more specific, it needs to be based on your circumstances and what you're going through, because every case is unique and you're going to want to have legal advice specific to your circumstances. To get an appointment scheduled with an attorney at my office for that purpose, go online to makelawEasy.com.